Okay, I think it's streaming. Hold on, let me see. Okay, wait, let me go to the comments. Okay, hey, can everyone see us? Hear us?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think we're live. Okay, forgive me, guys. This is my first stream on my channel, and this is my first guest, which I'm really excited to have, Nipun Joshi. He's a VEDIC astrologer. So thank you for bearing with us for these technical difficulties. It's a little bit, a little bit of a road to get to where we want to go, but we're here now. So I'm grateful for that. And so thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate you. And I appreciate Nipun Joshi for coming to my channel. So today we're talking about Jupiter. So Jupiter just went into Aquarius yesterday. And it went into Aquarius in the VEDIC Sidereal system. And if you guys don't know already, the degrees are different in each system. So this is from the VEDIC sidereal perspective. I know a lot of you guys understand the Western side of things and the Western interpretations of things, but I wanted to bring Nipun Joshi here to talk about the VEDIC sidereal aspect of it, what it means for summer, and also the nakshatras that Jupiter is transiting. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to get into the nakshatras and also the ascendant sign predictions as well. So thank you guys for coming, and I'll let Nipun introduce himself now and just talk about a little bit about himself and what he does, and we'll get into the Jupiter discussion.
So to begin with, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. The tripod just got hit. Yeah. So to begin with, Kitana, thanks a lot for inviting me to your channel, and it will be like a very insightful and informational session for both of our audience. One which is like who are following me, the Vedic way of understanding the planetary influence in our lives. As the time when I upload this video on my channel, I did not go much in detail. So the points which got missing, I'm going to cover in this video. And I'm sure that for your audience, Western audience as well, they are also going to get information and insights that what kind of results this Jupiter's transit in the Aquarius sign is going to bring for all of us. So, Kitana, I'm going to follow the same schedule which you shared with me. You actually did a very good job in breaking down the whole topic, so that if we will stick to your schedule or your breakdown of the topics, we will not miss out on anything. So yes, first of all, to your audience, if I were to introduce myself, so yes, I am born in the priestly class Brahmin family in India, and astrology has always been around me. And so many times I used to get surprised when I'm visiting a temple and any priest who is looking at me and he's saying this thing, oh, you're going to have this knowledge of spiritual knowledge and all of that. And that time I was going through the MBAs and all of that. I didn't know that it's going to happen someday. But just because of the grace of the planets and teachers, that I got introduced to this subject, this holy field, and I've been practicing astrology from more than 7 8 years. And I've got a good like influence or the presence on social media, and good clients as well who supported me in all of my this journey, sharing their practical experiences, my predictions on their life. So that is how, because astrology is a practical experience, you get to see and observe in your own lives at the same time. So, okay, friends, now beginning with the our today's topic. So, first of all, the covering the introduction part. So, when we talk about Jupiter's importance and role in our life, it is the most important planet to begin with. Jupiter represents fortune, it represents expansion, it represents all kind of goodness which you can see around you. So, when we talk about the planetary transit or the planetary dashas, it's not only the outer circumstances or opportunities which goes through change, but at the same time, even in our consciousness, in even in our life, in our priorities, you can fairly see the change. And Jupiter is a planet which we need to have in a strengthened state in our life. I mean to say, like when we talk about, for example, now whichsoever area of life you are in, whether you are a student, you need to fare good in your academics, you are a single person, you are waiting to get into a relationship, or you are in your like you are expecting a baby, or you want to expand your family. So in any area of life, Jupiter is very important. Jupiter is being connected with fortune. So even in transit, it means that during the transit, basis your ascendant, in which area of your life wisdom is getting showered. The fortune can be experienced in which area of your life basis monitoring is transit. Jupiter's transit. So that is something which I wanted to tell about Jupiter, which represents wisdom, fortune, goodness, well-being, good virtues, expansion, and fortune.
The good
Now
stuff.
coming to the next section, yeah, and now coming to the next section of meaning of Jupiter in Aquarius. Now, first of all, to begin with, Aquarius in itself is such a amazing sign. I mean to say, trust me, there is no planet which is not going to function well in this sign. I mean to say, it is a only sign which can make any planet function good or give good results. Like this is a sign which is being ruled by planet Saturn, and even as per the Vedic astrology, it is also co-ruled by Rahu as well, north node of moon as well. So I mean to say, the only thing which comes to our mind when we talk about Saturn is, oh my God, delays, obstructions, restrictions, being very conservative, being very orthodox. But trust me, Saturn also has a very philanthropic, very humanitarian, very out of the box, and very innovative side as well, which manifests itself through this Aquarius sign. And at the same time, when we talk about technology, innovation, space sciences, helping people, being a part of the collective, so these all are also the qualities which you can attach or associate with this zodiac sign Aquarius. So I mean to say, whether you talk about Saturn's own group of friends, like we talk about Saturn, we talk about Mercury, we talk about Venus, but at the same time, even Jupiter can bring out very good results in this Aquarius sign. So the general way, if you want to just understand or look at it in a very mundane or in a very general way, so I mean to say, whether in the form of technology or all those people who might have worked hard, because if you will understand the correlation between the Capricorn sign and the Aquarius sign, so Capricorn is a sign which is all about doing your duties, doing your hard work, doing the karma, like the typical Vedic term karma. But the result of your karma comes from the Aquarius sign. So in the past few months, when Jupiter was already debilitated, it was conjunct with Saturn. Now, all those people who follow the Vedic astrology, so they must have, or they, all those people who were going through hard times, they were giving this assurance to themselves. Okay, Jupiter is debilitated, but still it is conjunct with Saturn, so it means Jupiter is going through cancellation of debilitation. So I mean to say, it's not only the tangible aspect where you feel the heat, that you might have to work hard, you are not feeling very optimistic, you are not being very much prone to, or you're not able to get access to as many opportunities which you think you are capable of. So I mean to say, all those things were actually bit restrained or restricted at the time when Jupiter was in the Capricorn sign. But the moment now Jupiter has already entered the Aquarius sign, so I mean to say, basis your ascendant, it is definitely going to help you, give you the results of all the hard work which you might have been doing from the past couple of months when it was debilitated. The second way to understand this thing is that when we talk about being very optimistic and able to connect with opportunities, able to get the support of the friends, able to think out of the box. So all these things can materialize, whether in the form of your own mindset, the thinking process, a shift, a positive shift in your thinking process, or at the same time getting opportunities. So whether in the form of all those people who are single, they have been waiting to find the right partner, right person to enter their life, all those people who are awaiting promotion, childbirth. So all these things can happen, all these things can materialize. Aquarius is a sign which has the capability, which has the potential to make any planet function in a very not only in a very out of the box innovative way, in a very intellectual way, but at the same time in a very philanthropic humanitarian way as well. So that is how we can see or correlate the presence of Jupiter in the this Aquarius sign. And the co-ruler of the Aquarius, not only that, but the ruler of both the rulers of the Aquarius sign are in a strengthened state. So I mean to say, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is strengthened in Capricorn. Aquarius is co-ruled by Rahu. Rahu is also strengthened in the like in the Taurus sign. So because of which, or because of the current alignment, whatsoever work Jupiter wants to do in this Aquarius sign, it is getting a very strong and a very strengthened foundation. Because if the sign Lord planet is not in a strengthened state in transit, so no matter how much good a planet wants to do, it is not able to get a strong foundation. So right now, Jupiter is actually getting a very strengthened grounds to lay the seeds of hope, optimism, promotion, opportunities, growth. And so from all of the well-being aspect, this transit can be seen as very promising, which everyone was so far waiting for. So that is about this. Now, if you have any question, Kitana, you can ask.
Yes. So Jupiter does represent great things. And you mentioned the philanthropic side of Jupiter. And so how would you say this manifests on maybe like a global scale with Jupiter, Jupiter's influence in Aquarius?
So, see, if you want to understand it from the mundane perspective, so definitely all those people who are or whatsoever the innovation is happening in front of the technology or the space innovation, there also we can see some positive innovative growth, some new newses, some new breakthrough, new invention that can materialize. And the right now the main problem which we are facing, we are struggling with, is the problem of the COVID-19 and the pandemic restrictions. So because it has been long since people have been people have to go through all the impositions, all the restrictions, and everyone is losing out hope. I even was checking in the news, the British Columbia, the province where I am living, even the government announced some new restrictions. So I mean to say, I'm not seeing much of the protest or much of the resistance which might come from the people, because the thing is that Aquarius represents collective consciousness, group activity. So I mean to say, rather than miscommunication or going haywire, people getting alarmed or the panic. So rather than people will be able to abide by the government's regulations and restrictions, they will be able to see through the truth that whatsoever government is doing, it might be for their good at the same time. Because even in April, as per the sidereal, Sun is also going to enter its exaltation in the mid of the April. So I mean to say, Sun, which represents government, that is also exalted. Saturn is the law enforcement and everything. Saturn is also in a strengthened state in the Capricorn sign, and with the transit of Jupiter in the Aquarius. So whether in the form of people connected with the fields of technology, people connected with the fields of social media, technology, artificial intelligence, so new invention, new innovation, all those work which have been lagging from the past. So let's say, for example, you have your some of the tech startup which in which you are engaged, you are working in. So if you have been facing some roadblocks, so in the times to come, those things can thrive. And just because from Aquarius, Jupiter also looks at straight to the Leo sign as per the Vedic sign. If you want to understand, so I mean to say, so even for all those people who are in stock market, speculative nature of business, so there also some opportunities, some new news, good positive
Hmm.
support of the government. So all these things can happen. So I'm not seeing much of the things going through chaos or some kind of haywire, that kind of things
Not
happening.
like last year.
Yeah. Oh my God, last year was. See, if you will see, like as per the sidereal, on 14th of April, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini. So
Okay.
Mars is going to enter the, as per the sidereal, Mars is going to enter the sign of Gemini. Now, Gemini also represents communication, social media. So I mean to say, there will be attempt by people, there will be attempt by the fringe elements and all these people, but they will not be able to do much of the damage. I mean to say, because Mars, when we talk about the Gemini sign, that is going to be altogether different discussion. We can cover that later on in some other live streaming. But right now, I mean to say, whatsoever attempts might be from any of the fringe element, they will not be able to like create that kind of panic amongst the people, and people will come together. They will support the frontline workers, they will support the government, and they will understand the goodness hidden behind those rash and harsh impositions which government is putting, because at the end that is for our good only. So people will be able to understand it, and they will work in tandem with the impositions or the regulations brought by the government.
That's good news. It's more unity.
Yes, yes, that's what Aquarius is.
Yeah. Okay, so I think do you want to just touch on the dates and then we'll get into
Yeah.
the nakshatras?
Yes. So specific dates of transit. So
Okay.
the dates of transit is, this thing that as per the sidereal calculation,
Mhm.
from 5th of April till 14th of September, Jupiter is going to be in the Aquarius sign. And specifically because in our sidereal, we have to, if you want to actually understand the planetary behavior within the same zodiac sign, so you have to take your analysis to the nakshatras as well, the asterism as well.
Mhm.
So from 5th April, like right now as well, Jupiter was, even before that, is in the Dhanishta Nakshatra only, because Dhanishta shares its territory into two zodiac signs from 23 degree 20 minutes till 6 degree 40 minutes in Aquarius is the region of the Dhanishta. So now in the Dhanishta, Jupiter has entered the Aquarius section. So I mean to say, when we talk about the Dhanishta Nakshatra, Dhanishta is a nakshatra which is ruled by the planet Mars, and it even has got the power of fame, abundance. So I mean to say, all those people who directly come in the purview of the Dhanishta, like I mean to say, fashion people, content creator, all those people who are actors and connected with the film and television industry, who might not have been getting lot many audition calls, but now, if their important prominent planets are already in Dhanishta, or we will once we will start taking up the 12 ascendants, then we will get a more clear, precise information. But yes, in general, the transit of Jupiter in the Dhanishta nakshatra can be seen as very promising for all those people who are connected with any of the public profile, content creation, technology, creativity, fame, films, television. So all these people can actually straight away get benefited. And because it is being ruled by the Mars, so even the engineering professions, technology, real estate, construction, so all these people can also get benefited, and some new opportunities. See, in our, out of all the 27 nakshatras, it is the Dhanishta only which is the embodiment of the opportunities,
Mhm.
influence, connections. So that is how you can see the results, or the sudden transition in all those cases where people are freelance, they have their small businesses. So some reinforced client base, walk-ins, opportunities can actually materialize. And from 22nd May till 20th of July, Jupiter is going to be in the Satyvisha nakshatra. uh, in between, on 20th June, as per the sidereal calculation, Jupiter is also going to go retrograde as well. But okay, retrograde we will come later. But when we talk about the Sadbhisha, see, at the time of when Jupiter is going to be in the Sadbhisha nakshatra, Sadbhisha is a nakshatra which is being ruled by the planet Rahu. Sadbhisha is the actual genius and intelligence in the Aquarius sign. Now, when we talk about Aquarius, the few of the qualities or the features, keywords which comes to everyone's mind, we say Aquarius, oh, innovative, eccentric,
Yeah.
bit unusual, but genius, very friendly, out of the box, utopian mindset. So the
Mhm.
genius segment and the very philanthropic segment is connected with the Sadbhisha section of the Aquarius sign. So I
Okay.
mean to say, even for the remedial aspect, I would say that this is actually going to be the time that when Jupiter is in the Dhanishta section of the Aquarius, you want to do the remedies in order to pacify, appease, or make Jupiter work in tandem with your aspirations. So that time you can still take the ritualistic path, because in our Vedic astrology, everything comes down to understanding the planetary vibrations in your life and what are the remedies. Like if you will see any of the Vedic astrology consultation session, it always hovers around that what I can do to make the best use out of the planetary vibrations, by which kind of remedies I can opt. So I mean to say, till the time Jupiter is in the Dhanishta, you can still think about the ritualistic, like Jupiter in itself represents religion, people of spiritual significance. Now,
Mm.
whatsoever your faith is, now you are a Christian, you are a Sikh, you are a Hindu, you are Muslim, whatsoever your religion is, your faith is, Jupiter works equally for everyone. It
Mm.
represents religion. So I mean to say, the Dhanishta section can still be seen as good for the ritualistic way of appeasing this planet of opportunity, of
Mm.
fortune. But once Jupiter is going to be in the Satbisha section, so that is going to be the time when unconditional service and being very much, what do you call that, very empathizing towards the underdogs or all those people who are going through problem. So I mean to say, service aspect is going to dominate at the time when Jupiter is going to be the Sadvisha Nakshatra as a part of the remedy, and the rituals, prayers, and the religious endeavors are going to dominate when Jupiter is going to be in the Dhanishta section.
Okay.
So yeah, and Sadvisha section is generally being ruled by all those people. Sadvisha is ruled by Rahu. So artificial intelligence, technology, people in work in alcohol industry, liquor industry, casinos, and all these things like typical purview and domain of Rahu. Whether you are a scientist, whether you deal with pharmaceutical industry, you deal in the film photography industry, or technology, coding, artificial intelligence. So all these sectors, people engaged in these sectors can actually get the benefits, can actually get the opportunities. So you
Mm.
have to understand this thing. I already said this thing, Kitana, at the beginning, that the transit of Jupiter just tells about in which area of your life the shower of blessing is happening, where blessings are showering by the divine. And when we talk about after this, like after Aquarius, once Jupiter is going to get into its own sign of Pisces. So Pisces is a very transcendental sign. Like Pisces is more about compassion. Pisces is more about completely submerging in the divinity in your craft. But the opportunity part is still the Aquarius. So I mean
Mm.
to say, you actually want to trigger or stir up some opportunities in your favor and all these things. So this is the right time for you to make best use out of
Okay, that's good. And while you were talking, I actually did have a question. And you mentioned Dhanishta is really good for fulfillment of your desires. And so would you say Dhanishta is good for wealth? And then I've also heard that Shadabhahisha can be good for healing as well. So are
it.
those two
Yes.
things?
Yes.
See
So,
what
for example, let's say, for example, all those people who are going through any of the concerns of health, concerns of viruses, concerns of diseases, and all of that. So,
Mhm.
the Sadbisha part is definitely going to be very beneficial for them. That
Mhm.
doing any of the religious austerities and any of the remedies during this time can actually bring a relief in their health concerns. So
Mm.
for that aspect, the time of Sadbisha can be seen as very good, because see, Sadbisha embodies 100 physician. The way, see, Sadbisha is my moon nakshatra as well, so I know a lot about it. I
Yeah.
can say a lot about it. So the
Okay.
way energies of Sadbisha works, it is very difficult to understand it on with a rational mindset, when, how it is going to work. So the only thing is that whenever these kind of karmic energies take predominance, the best approach is unconditional surrender to the divine. When
Okay.
we talk about nakshatras like Dhanishta and other nakshatra, you can rationalize them, you can understand them, you can comprehend them. But when we talk about nakshatras like Mula, nakshatras like Sadbisha, these are very esoteric nakshatras. Like, you might have been going through long problems of diseases or death, and suddenly with a flash of light everything got wiped out, and now everything is fine, back to normal. So anything can happen. And just because Jupiter in itself is a very benevolent planet, all the house lord, nakshatra lord in a strengthened state, Saturn, Rahu, so I mean to say, Jupiter is actually coming to a house where everything is fixed. Because imagine, you bring a doctor, you bring a specialist, but first he has to fix up the environment or the house where it has entered before examining the patient. So here the good part here is that all the house and the foundation of the house is already in a very spick and span in an immaculate state. So you just start working hard, and understand in basis your ascendant where this whole entry of Jupiter has happened, and just do ritualistic way all the remedies connected with it. And again, I do not want to push only the Vedic teachings or Vedic remedies only. Whatsoever your faith is, whether you are Sikh, whether you are Christian, you are Muslim, or whatsoever your faith is, be more ritualistic. Like show your endeavors and your devotion and your gestures towards your God in the form of your daily prayers or daily meditation, prayers, recitation of the scriptures of your holy scriptures. That can actually give you good benefit.
Wow. Okay, that sounds great. I think that's good news to hear, especially with the energy of Shadowbahisha and like the healing energy it does have. And so that brings us into the 12 ascendants, unless you had anything else to add for the
Retrograde. Let's just so the thing is, till the time Jupiter is going to be direct, like that is going to be till 19th and 20th of the June. So
Mhm.
that is still a very good time for getting and expecting results in the form of
Mhm.
whatsoever hard work you have been doing. A promotion is awaited, or recognition on your work is awaited, launching a book, expecting more opportunities. All
Yeah.
of that can materialize when the planet gets retrograde. Generally planet brings out more of the contemplative part. So I mean to say, then in those kind of scenarios, circumstances, for the spiritual seekers, for the artists or the content creators, where you're working with your subconsciousness, you're working with your creative faculties, so there it is going to materialize. Like I mean to say, you will be able to see through the wheels of deception of the people, and your intuition might work in a very good fashion.
Mhm.
Creativity and all these things can help you. You might be inwardly motivated, and from inside you're like motivated towards doing good deeds, helping people, supporting people, community causes. But when we talk about the opportunity part, something actually materializing in
Mhm.
outside of your influence, so
Mhm.
that is generally the time when planet is direct. So I mean to say, the time period when Jupiter is going to go retrograde, that will be more of a contemplative time. But the opportunity part of this important auspicious transit of Jupiter can be more connected with, till the time it is direct, and it is going to be in the Dhanishta section.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. So that makes a lot of sense. So would you say that during the retrograde period of Jupiter, results are less likely to materialize, or is it? How would you say that differs with the results
See,
or
the difference is that what I have seen is that generally people say that, like for example, in my research, I have seen that if a planet is in a well placed, like a exalted planet, or planet in a friendly sign. So, for example, Jupiter placed in Cancer, Jupiter placed in Sagittarius, Jupiter placed in like Pisces. So, and that along with that, if a planet is retrograde, so planet capability and energy to function in a benefic way gets more intensified. I've never seen an exalted planet with retrograde that its capacity or its like its capability of giving good results get restricted. I've never seen that. I've seen people in whose case it's a science of practical observation in lives. I've seen in all those people's chart where the exalted retrograde planets time period came, and they actually grew with leap and bound. They made great success, they achieved a lot in during that time period of that planet. So I mean to say, I would not say that, but I would still say that the retrograde time of a planet generally brings little bit of the stagnation in the opportunities, and it
Mhm.
is more of a time of inner contemplation, I would rather say,
That makes
for
sense.
spiritual seekers, and basis your field, what is qualifying in your case. And see, at the end of the day, it is also very important to understand this thing, no, that if from inside you are guided well by your intuition, by your good insights, so that can also help you drive you towards taking action. But let's say, for example, all those people who are actually just awaiting, and their life and their circumstances are dependent on the outside world. Like for example, an actor has to wait for audition call to come, or someone who's running his boutique or business, he has to be dependent on the footfall or the clients or the customers are coming in. So for that aspect, the direct planet is more conducive, more positive.
Mhm.
That's the thing.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and it clarifies the whole like difference between that two. And I feel like you're saying like Dhanishta is the best for like that materialization of the results
Yes,
and like the
yes,
fruits of
yes.
everything. Okay. Okay. So now would you be ready to get into the ascendants? Let's see what the chats are saying. My Jupiter Solar. Is this success professional? Can it relate to life? I think someone was also asking about relationships in Jupiter. So can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, like the way we started it at the time of the introduction, that Jupiter is the main significator of like prosperity through relationship. Like we not only wants to be in relationship, we want to feel happy, we want to feel contented, and we want to expand and grow with our person we are in relationship with. So I
Mhm.
mean to say, even from that perspective, I already explained this thing, that if your relationship is already going through difficult times, there is dryness, all those people who are already in relationship, so you will fairly see some some rekindle of the emotions and feelings that can happen. And all those people who are single, so even from their perspective,
Mhm.
finding someone or running into someone, some partner, or you are of a marriageable age, like, see, that all depends on the country, era, and time period. But still, I would say that if you have been long waiting for a marriage or a partner, so this time period can be seen as very promising, that those relationship can materialize. And for example, like, if you are actually for long you have not been getting good results, you're not finding the right person, and you just shut down yourself from your social influence or from the dating apps or matrimonial apps. So I mean to say, this is going to be a good time for you to actually again create those accounts if you're single. So you might run into the right person, right partner, who's going to complement you.
Yeah, that sounds good. So everybody, he's saying to make your Tinder accounts tonight. Okay. Let's make it funny. But so essentially, and it's funny too because I could already feel that Jupiter energy with relationships.
I'll tell you very simple example. I ordered I ordered this book from Amazon, and it's surprisingly I just got delivered in the morning for me. So I saw this book in my mail. I was just coming back. It's my fasting day. So by Robert Suboda. So I mean to say that, like, so many things. Like, there has been a book also which I ordered. That is my Hindu epic. So I wanted to read it. I was not able to get time. So in the morning, everything's got arranged or aligned in a way that I started my first day, my morning, with the transit of Jupiter, with getting a holy book, this couriered to me, and getting time to start initiating reading this book, and all the religious austerities which I generally do on my fasting days on Tuesdays. I mean to say, from all of those perspective, you can this is how you see the sync, the energies reverberating around you. So
Yeah.
yes, I'm fairly seeing that, yes, it is happening around me.
And
So
you mentioned your moon.
being introduced to, yeah, being introduced to knowledge. And today also we are doing this call as well, being introduced to new set of audience, new people. So yes, that's how you see the I'm telling you, see, astrology is not only about reading in the books, it's about practically
Yes, I
observing as
agree.
well in your life.
Mhm. And you mentioned that your moon is in Sidereal Aquarius. Your moon, right?
Yeah, you got me
Yeah.
on that. Yes, yes, yes. Well,
And so
Jupiter is in the natal Jupiter now. My Jupiter is also in the Aquarius only. So Jupiter has come on the natal Jupiter.
that's very fortunate. And so I'm also feeling the transit as well because my ascendant is Sidereal Aquarius. So I feel like that Jupiter
Oh
coming
wow.
into my first house. So I feel like even this, us doing this right now, it's very like expansive. I haven't done this on my channel. So it really does line up like what you said, like the synchronicities come into like your real life routines. And I think that's so powerful. And I feel like Jupiter is such a powerful energy to be.
So the only thing, the only thing which I want to advise to, not the Western audience, if let's say for example some of the Vedic or Hindu audience also are going to see it, because many times what happen is that for us, when we want to do remedies for any of our aspirations, we only focus on the temples or churches or the gurdwaras or only the places of spiritual significance. But Aquarius doesn't only represent that. Aquarius also tells about voluntary work. So yeah, you actually want to do something even if you're doing a voluntary work. Like for example, if I have a time scheduled from in the mornings of 9 to 9:30 to visit this temple and do the prayers, but Aquarius is an energy that says that okay, 9 to 9:30, if you did not go to the temple but you went to this shelter and you did service, you did voluntary work, so you equally going to get the merits. Rather, Aquarius says you get more merit. So Aquarius is all about service, unconditional service.
Mm.
Planets are always looking at you, they are always observing you. It's not like that you have to show it to someone. Even if you did a deed, you did a charitable deed where no one saw you, no one took a picture, do not have to post it. It is getting recorded in the planets, which will give you the result accordingly.
That makes a lot of sense.
So
Mhm.
that is what Aquarius. That is what Aquarius. Unconditional.
Aquarius. All right.
So yeah, Kitana, you want to add something more? Otherwise, then we can get into the 12 ascendants and we will look at it.
I think that's it. I'll just reiterate the dates. I believe from the April 5th to the 22nd, Jupiter is direct in Dhanishta Aquarius, right?
Yes,
And then
yes,
you mentioned the other key date for us too, so we can remember it.
yeah. So from 22nd of May
Mhm.
till 20th of July, Jupiter is going to be in the Satyabhisha Nakshatra. And in between this, on 20th June, Jupiter is going to go retrograde.
Okay, so this like key beneficial time you're talking about is basically now until May 22nd
Yeah,
when it
May
comes.
22nd is more for all those people who are awaiting for opportunities, being approached by the right set of people. But once the Jupiter is going to go retrograde, it all comes down to you. So you have to be
Mhm.
cautious, contemplative, and you have to make use of your discerning intelligence to see what is right, make use of your judgment, and Jupiter is going to help you there in taking the right choices, making
Mhm.
the right decisions. See, now Jupiter has, as per the sidereal, it has crossed the boundary of the limits. Capricorn is limits, and Aquarius is opportunities, expansion. So that's what you try to understand, that it's like the inner light is going to guide you to take
Mhm.
right judgment, right decisions. But yes, once Jupiter is going to go retrograde, the you know the like the whole limelight is going to be on you, how you're going to function or you're going to behave. But in the
Mhm.
direct time, it is actually going to materialize some opportunities.
That makes sense. Okay, that is, I think, all the questions that I had and what I wanted to add. And then I'll also be putting the dates for you guys like on Instagram and stuff, so you guys can follow it there. But for now, we'll get into the ascendant predictions. And so this is for your sidereal ascendant. I
Yes.
included the link down below so you guys can calculate your sidereal chart and just look whatever your sidereal ascendant is. If you guys already know it, then you know it.
Yes.
But essentially, Jupiter will be in your house that corresponds with your sidereal Aquarius. And for many of you guys, Pisces is the tropical transit right now. And then, but yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's like sidereal Aquarius.
Yeah.
So the link is down below so you guys can see that. And then he's going to tell us the predictions from the Vedic perspective of the ascendants.
Okay. So, starting with the Aries people. So, for the Aries ascendant, as you know, this thing that Jupiter has entered for the Aries ascendant to their 11th house. So, 11th house, which is the house of your opportunities, it is the house of your hopes, it is the house of your desires. Saturn is already working hard. It is actually drilling, doing a lot of foundation work for you at your career front. This is not the time for you to daydream, because whenever we talk about Saturn just wants you to live in reality. Work hard, hard, hard. Try to find happiness and the happiness and contentment through your work only. So I mean to say, once Jupiter is going to enter the 11th house where it has entered for the Aries ascendant native, this is a good time for them, where it is going to help them in all areas of life. First of all, if you think that from past few months you did not get reciprocated or acknowledged for your hard work accordingly, so this is the time when opportunities, accolades, appreciation, rewards, promotion, all these things can start materializing. And when we talk about the 11th house, it is a very important placement because even from the sidereal perspective, Jupiter also has got additional aspect as well. So I mean to say, from 11th house, Jupiter is going to look at your third house of your courage, of your valor, of your communication, self-initiated efforts. It is also going to look at your fifth house of your love, of your romance, progeny, children, education. And with its ninth aspect, it is going to look at your seventh house of your public image, of your relationship. So it is like actually going to be a very beneficial transit for Aries ascendant natives, specifically where they're all the major areas of life, of relationship, of promotion, work life, new opportunities can materialize for them. So for Aries ascendant native, they have to be assured that whatsoever hard work they have done in the past few weeks, it is actually going to now start materializing. And with Sun entering your first house in the on the 14th of April or May, so this from the 14th or 15th of April, I mean to say, when Sun is going to enter their first house, exalted, till the next 15th or 14th of the May. So this 1 month is very crucial for them. So I mean to say, trust me, like work as hard as you can, and this is the time for you to actually receive the gift from the gods. So that is one thing which I want to tell you. Now guys, moving ahead, now if we will try to understand it for all the Taurus ascendant natives. So one more thing, Kitana, if you want to add as well at the same time, or you just want me to cover and complete all the 12 signs with each ascendant, you also want to add something?
No, it's okay. We'd love to hear your Vedic perspective of it.
Okay. So now we will come to the Taurus ascendant natives. So for the Taurus ascendant natives, as we know this thing that Venus, till 9th of April, it is exalted. From 10th April till 3rd May, it is going to enter the Aries sign. Because whatever predictions we make, we also have to give attention to the ascendant lord as well. But yes, specifically for the Taurus ascendant native, this whole transit of Jupiter is going to happen on their 10th house. So I mean to say, their activities, their deeds, their public image is actually going to get divine protected because of the presence of Jupiter over there. Because see, you have to understand this thing that Saturn is a very realistic planet. It is a very practical planet. It doesn't believe in lucky breaks. It doesn't believe in giving you the result of your fortune. Like, what is fortune? Like, for example, they were like, you entered right in the face of the opportunity. That is how luck and fortune favors you. And there is other person who's working hard, who is exploiting all the opportunities, and after sweating, after getting completely drained, then he got lucky. So I mean to say, for the Taurus ascendant natives, so far their ninth house of luck and fortune is being restricted because of the heavy Saturn being present over there, and Jupiter was also present over there. So because of which, luck might not have been favoring them the way their hard work needs to be acknowledged and like appreciated. So once Jupiter is going to enter their 10th house, so their public image, their public activities, like people of authority might start again trusting them, some new responsibility, some new like it all comes down to what kind of nature of job qualify in your case. If in your case you work as a freelance, you work on a contractual basis, so some new opportunity, new contract, your public image is going to get reinforced, your bosses might start working you, you might get some new clients. But important is that whatsoever you're going to be doing during this time period of Jupiter, while it is transiting in your 10th house, it is actually in the public eye, or divine, or the divine is actually monitoring it. So you work hard, and you will be able to win the confidence of the people of authority, and your public image is definitely going to get enhanced. So in their case, for the Taurus ascendant natives, if in your case any of the social media, public platform, public seat qualifies, so this transit of Jupiter is going to be very beneficial for them. And all those people who might have been unemployed, or as per their nature of work, they might not have been getting good clients or good projects. So this time period of Jupiter can actually help them in form of making some good connection as well, connected to their work life, their public life. And moving, you want me to cover any other area? I guess we looked at everything. So
Mhm. And I think would that like include like promotions? Like
yes, that can also happen. See, because from the 10th house, Jupiter with its fifth aspect is straight away looking at the second house of their finances as well. So
okay.
right now, we are not only talking about their public life only with responsibilities or a pat on the shoulder. We are also looking at financial perks as well. So financial perks are also getting qualified because of Jupiter's entry in their 10th house. So it can be seen as a good time. And
Okay.
let's say, for example, with its ninth aspect, Jupiter is also looking at their their sixth house as well. So I mean to say, if in someone's case they have some of the debts or credit card outstanding bills and all of that, so this transit of Jupiter is definitely going to help them in pay back their dues, their outstanding credit bills, and some financial opportunity. And at work front, making good connections with the bosses, people of authority, and getting job offers. So this can be seen as a good promising
Oh, great. Okay. So that was
time.
Sidereal Taurus, you guys.
Yeah. And ending for all the Gemini ascendant natives. So guys, for the Gemini ascendant natives, now as you can freely see that in their case, Jupiter has now entered their ninth house. So to begin with, one thing which I want to tell to all the Gemini ascendant natives, that in their case, doing ritualistic measures or remedies gets more important for these people. So let's say, for example, during this time, whatsoever your faith is, like you are Hindu, you're Muslim, you're Christian, you're Isai, but like whatever your religion is, I mean to say, connecting with your religion, people of spiritual significance, doing prayers, doing all these yoga, meditation, that is actually going to help them or strengthen the prospects of their luck. Jupiter, which in itself is a planet of opportunity, it's a planet of prosperity. So now, basis the pandemic restrictions which are applicable in your country, wherever you are based in, I mean to say, ninth house is also the house of travels as well. So, basis the restrictions and your nature of job, some travels can also materialize. Ninth house is also the house of high, PhDs, MBAs, and all of that. So, let's say, for example, if you are already a student or your MBA, your course is about to get complete, that whole curriculum session is about to get over, and people then start applying for the jobs. So some new co-ops, some new opportunities, new job, support of the luck can help all those people who are just fresh out of the college. So in that regard, they can get benefited. And this is the time period where you have to pay respect to your father a lot. Like in Vedic astrology, ninth house is not only the house of the guru, it is also the house of our father as well, I mean to say. So because of which you have to remain very respectful towards your father. Try not to get into any arguments. Do not disrespect them. And yes, from travels, from knowledge perspective, from health perspective as well, this can be seen as a very good time, because from ninth house for the Gemini ascendant natives, Jupiter is also going to aspect their ascendant as well. Now, ascendant is very important. Any of the concerns of the health, public image, we see from there. So, I mean to say, the concerns of health, if it has been troubling them from past few months or weeks, so that can also improve. And see, the thing is with the ninth house, it's like the wisdom is going to dawn upon them. The wisdom, the divine is actually looking at them. So, in that regards, um, chances are going to be less that they might take some reckless decision taken during this time are actually going to be filled with lot of research, lot of contemplation, right set of decision making. So from that perspective, this time period can be seen as good for the Gemini ascendant natives. And let's say, for example, if even if in your case any of the concerns of immigration, you're applying for citizenship, immigration, residentship, so even from that perspective, this transit can be seen as safe and secure for all the Gemini ascendant natives. Just one tip for you guys: connect with the God. This is a good time for you to imbibing all the religious teachings, knowledge of basis your religion. Try to imbibe that.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving ahead for all the Cancer ascendant natives. So for the Cancer ascendant natives, this transit of Jupiter is going to enter in their eighth house. So now see, eighth house is a bit a difficult house, bit extreme house, intense house. So I mean to say, beyond doubt, if you are or your nature of job qualifies connected to the eighth house, I mean to say all the bankers, all the researchers, people in the insurance field, all those people who are psychic. And trust me, even for the actors and the film and television people, eighth house is still important. It is the house of unexpected, sudden, opportunities. All the sudden elements triggers from the eighth house. So from that perspective, this time period can still be seen as very beneficial for all the Cancer ascendant natives. And let's say, for example, if in your case, any of the concerns of your joint resources with your partner or your in-laws, your partner's parents also has got a say in your decision making in your life. So in those circumstances, scenarios, terms can improve, some help contribution can come to your way. See, from the eighth house, whatever happens, it happens in a very unexpected way. Jupiter in itself is a significator of opportunities, good fortune, good factor, I mean to say. So yeah, all these things can materialize. The only thing which I want to advise you over here is that specifically with Jupiter in your eighth house. So now
Mhm.
whenever there is going to be the time of a new moon or full moon, and so just try to give attention to your emotional state. Don't feel agitated, don't get to the depth of your emotions or your feelings. Try not to be pessimistic, because generally for the Cancer ascendant natives, they are already a bit emotional, they are very receptive. And with that said, at the same time, if in their natal chart only, if moon has got an influence of Saturn, like for example, if in their, for a Cancer ascendant, moon is conjunct with Saturn or moon is conjunct with Rahu,
Mhm.
moon is hemmed by the malefic, so then they feel more agitated. So I mean to say, just don't get triggered, don't get agitated, seek refuge in divinity. This is a very good time to get the revelations. I mean to say, where your intuition is going to head you, you might be revealed by the true nectar of knowledge. And I have already said, for all those people who are directly connected with the eighth house professions, which we just mentioned, they can straight away get benefited. Eighth house is also the house of people going through troubles, people going through miseries, and all kind of psychological mental chaos. So I mean to say, if you come across anyone going through these kind of problems, there cannot be any better remedy for any planet than unconditionally helping someone. So try to help someone with good intentions. That can also help, or that can also bring good results in your life as well.
Okay.
Moving ahead, for all the Leo ascendant natives. For the Leo ascendant natives, this like transit of the Jupiter is going to be happening in their seventh house. So finally, good news for the Leo ascendant native, because sixth house again, Saturn, Mars, malefics are considered as good in the in the Dushtana bhav, in the 6, 8, 12 houses. But still, sixth house just makes you work very hard. Right? At least the good part with the eighth house is that no matter how much trouble and miseries it is giving you, but
Yeah.
suddenly it gives some opportunity and gift as well. So it kept on grilling you, kept on pressurizing you, but at the end, the endings, sometimes for the eighth house people, if they are devoted to the gods and divinity,
Yeah.
sometimes the endings are very beautiful and things get completely transformed in their benefit. But with the sixth house, there is just hard work. Sixth
Yeah.
house is hard work, and no shortcut in that. Hard work, opportunity, I'm so sorry, hard work, challenges, enmity, competition. So you're always surrounded in your daily work life, being overwhelmed by the pressure of the duties. So I mean to say, once Jupiter is going to enter your seventh house,
Yeah.
this time period can be seen as very good for all those people in whose case, to begin with, if you have been single. So because even Venus was combust till 19th or 20th of April. So I mean to say, from 20th, for those people who are single, awaiting for right proposal to come to their way for marriage and all these matrimonial alliances and all of that, this time period can be seen as very beneficial. For all those people who are like entrepreneurs, or they have their own businesses, they are in the any of the partnership business. So for people in the commerce and the business, this time period can be seen as very good for them. For all those people who are content creators, social media, they are actors, freelance people in the film television business, this time period can be seen as very beneficial for them. And yes, yeah, that is, and it's not only that all those people who are single, they are going to get married or going to get good proposals. I mean
Mhm.
to say, at the same time, even if your marriage, you felt that, that kind of the bonding or the what do you call that, that intimacy is not the word which I will use, but yes, that kind of happiness, that kind of togetherness if that has been lacking from past few weeks. Now this could be because of pandemic, because of your work related responsibilities. So I mean to say, good harmony, good feeling of bliss within the matrimonial ties. So even in order to experience that, this transit of Jupiter in the seventh house for all the Leo ascendant natives can be seen as very beneficial, whether from the relationship perspective, whether from the commerce, trade, business perspective, freelance people, the enhancement of their public image and all of that, or people who are already settled in foreign lands or awaiting to migrate. So for all those perspective, and even all those people who are in the fields of the law or anything related to even the people connected with the law field as well, they can also get benefited because of this Jupiter's transit in their seventh house. Guys, one thing which you have to understand is that this whole transit of Jupiter, we are covering it on the perspective of all the 12 ascendants. But at the end of the day, Jupiter is in the Aquarius sign. So I mean to say, whichever houses we are covering, the living signification of that house, you have to remain very devoted to them, helpful towards them, and try to become friends with them, become a part of the group. So I mean to say, seventh house is just the outside world. So whomsoever you run into, try to help people, try to be a part of the collective. Because with the Leo ascendant natives, the problem is that they are always the lone wolf. Like they're little bit of the ego or my prestige, my recognition. I will do it on my own. I can do everything on my own. So try to little bit suppress this individuality and try to reach out to people, become a part of the collective, and you're going to get beautiful results if you will have this approach and attitude during this transit of Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
Moving ahead, if you want to understand for yeah, so sorry, yeah.
Sorry. You mentioned how like the eighth house has like a negative connotation, or like the sixth house has a negative connotation, and Jupiter is benefic, and Saturn's like malefic. So would you say like the beneficness of Jupiter like neutralizes the eighth house negativity, or like the sixth house
See,
negativity?
for example, like my whole life is controlled and run from the eighth house only. I have received all, trust me, for me, like eighth house, 11th house are my prime houses where my majority of the planets are concentrated. So
Okay.
if I were to say whatsoever I have gained in the spiritual path, my foreign settlement, strong intuition, I've got everything because of the blessings and grace of the eighth house. So I mean to say, important is that every house has got its good and bad to offer. Like important is that in which condition the planet is dispersed over there in that house. Eighth house is a house which is a house of blessing for all those people who are spiritually inclined, unearned income, sudden unexpected gains. So I mean to say, eighth house is also benevolent in a way. Important is in which way the energies of eighth house is working in your life. But eighth
Okay.
house can be a blessing at the same time.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
So we shall move to the Virgo ascendant.
Virgo, yeah.
Yeah. So for the Virgo ascendant natives, so as you can fairly see that right now the Jupiter is going to enter from their fifth house to the sixth house. So for the Virgo ascendant natives, there is little bit of the difficulty in a way that when till the time Jupiter and Saturn was in the fifth house in a way represents all the recreational activities, entertaining activities, sports, fun-filled activities. The moment Jupiter is going to enter their sixth house, so I mean to say, again, like sixth house is about working hard, sixth house is about giving attention to details in their daily work life. So I mean to say, Jupiter being a significator of goodness and fortune. So I mean to say, if in someone's case who is a Virgo ascendant natives as per the Sidereal, and he might have been facing the heat connected to the sixth house. So I mean to say, he might not have been able to get the support of his team, juniors, subordinates, or someone who's going through health related concerns, for someone paying back his debts and outstanding credit bills was the concern. So the moment Jupiter is going to enter in the sixth house, all the connected problems of the sixth house, if that qualifies in your case, those difficulties can get resolved once Jupiter is going to enter your sixth house. And yes, but at the same time, if you want to materialize anything connected to Jupiter's abode in your sixth house, you have to work hard. That is one thing which I want to tell you. Nothing is going to happen or come out easy from your sixth house. And Saturn being present in the fifth house, it is also expecting your 11th house as well. So Saturn is also restraining your important houses of sudden opportunities as well. So I mean to say, the only thing which I want to advise for the Virgo ascendant natives, that sixth house connected situations, if that qualifies in your case, you can fairly see the good results coming in a way that all those problems can get resolved. And yes, at the same time, working hard on your skill, on your craft, can definitely give you an upper edge over your competition or over your competitors. That is one thing which I want to advise you. And the remedial part also gets equally qualified for all the Virgo ascendant natives. This is the time when, if you can help someone, someone who's going through problems, someone going through trouble. And specifically, I have seen all these things, that I forgot to mention this thing, that Jupiter is a main significator of knowledge and wisdom. So I mean to say, basis your country, basis your location, even the donation of the books or anything of the source of knowledge. So if you can make some donation to all those NGOs on charitable institutions which work in the fields of educating the underprivileged children with their books, with their school fees, tuition fees, or any of the school dresses and everything. So I mean to say, any of the small gestures also count, and they add up to something big. So that ways you can get the grace of Jupiter which can shine in your life. So
Mm,
that is something for the, and health concerns, specifically health concerns can improve if that is qualifying in the Virgo ascendant natives case.
okay.
And moving ahead, for the Libra ascendant natives. So for the Libra ascendant natives, now as you can see that this transit can be seen as finally very good for these people, because for the Libra ascendant natives, so far Saturn and Jupiter was conjunct in their fourth house. Many times people, like everyone wants fame, they give attention to the 11th house, career, they give attention to the 10th house, but you cannot be happy unless and until your fourth house is protected, because fourth house is where you roll back to feel nourished, your emotions, your feelings, contentment, fulfillment, everything in your life, all aspect of your life is the heart of which is the fourth house. Unless and until you are nourished properly, taken care of properly, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, so you're not going to fare good in any other area of the life. So I mean to say, for the Libra ascendant natives, so far, because of the concentration of Jupiter and Saturn in their fourth house, this time period could be little bit, the burden of the domestic responsibilities might have been troubling them or bothering them. So their happy-go-lucky, socializing nature might have been taking a toss because of the additional burden of the responsibilities. Or now this could be in a tangible way, where actually the problem of their domestic life might be be very overwhelming in the past few weeks. Or this could be that emotionally they are not able to feel relaxed, enjoy, reach out to people, do something, do those things which give happiness and enjoyment. But once Jupiter is going to, now it is already, it has entered their fifth house. So I mean to say, this is a very good time for the Libra ascendant natives to now actually feel relaxed, feel happy, enjoy, go out, meet people, give time to their hobbies, biking, skateboarding, anything which pleases you, which relaxes you. So this is a good time for the Libra ascendant natives to be a part of all these activities. And yes, at the same time, for all those people who are Libra ascendant and they are students, this time period can be seen as very good for them from their academic perspective. For all those people who are single, like fifth house also represents a love romantic relationship. From that perspective, this is a very good time for your hobbies, for your studies, and all those people who are artists or creative people. New opportunities, new audition calls can happen. And fifth house is also a prime house of yoga, meditation, and devotion to the gods, knowledge of scriptures. So you might be inclined towards reading the spiritual text, religious text, knowledge, getting the knowledge of the spirituality, your religion. So from all of those perspective, this time period of the transit of Jupiter can be seen as very good for all the Libra ascendant natives. So I mean to say, keep your intellect open for the good advices, good knowledge coming your way, and at the same time enjoying going out, meeting people, giving time to your hobbies, and even at the same time, whatsoever entertainment is happening, that is not compromising on their academics. So even the academics are also going to fare good, and meeting right set of people. So energy is very good. for the Libra Ascendant natives. Now
And
moving ahead. Yeah, please, please.
and I've heard that the fifth house is also pregnancy. Is that relevant here,
Yes,
or
yes. Fifth house is also the house of children as well. So all those people who have been long waiting for expanding their family and for the gift of the gods in the form of the good progeny as well. So yes, this time period is also going to can be seen as very promising for all these things.
okay, great, cool. So that was
And yeah. Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Moving ahead for the Scorpio ascendant natives. So Scorpio natives, like for them, Jupiter is going to enter their fourth house. So this transit of Jupiter in the fourth house can be seen as very good. And see, the only thing which I want to advise to the because okay, see, I'm just adding other aspect of astrology as well, but because Mars is their ascendant lord, and Mars so far is like till 14th of April, Mars is in their seventh house, which is still seen as a good sign. But the moment on the 14th of April, Mars is going to enter their eighth house, like the Gemini sign. So that is the time when they have to give attention to when they drive or when they deal with any of the confrontational situation. So all these things they have to give attention to. The force of their energy and intensity can be at its peak. So try not to get into any argumentative mode now, whether it's in the form of the outside world or whether in the form of the inside your family members as well. So that's one thing which I want to tell you. Your emotions, your feeling, or your receptive part of your personality is going to be very intense in the next few months to come. But that doesn't mean that Jupiter is not going to do its job. Every planet has a portfolio, has a duty, has a job to perform. So I mean to say, Jupiter being present in your fourth house can be seen as a very good time for in order to have experiencing happiness or any of the domestic matters which for long are getting qualified in your case, like any of the renovation in the house or buying some new house furniture, buying a vehicle, purchase of the vehicle. But at the same time, when you drive carefully. That's one thing which I want to tell you. And see guys, it's like when I am emphasizing on driving or the road, so you do not have to be cautious. It's just like that. Things do not happen only on the basis of the transit. Transit just creates the circumstances. You have to blend it with your ongoing time periods and the yogas which are there in your chart. But yes, because of the transit of the planets, those circumstances erupt. So you have to pay attention to that how you're going to act in the situation or in the face of that circumstances. So yeah, I was telling about the fourth house is a good house of feeling motivated, feeling bit optimistic. Fourth house is our emotions, our feelings. Jupiter in itself represents optimism. So feeling very religious, optimistic, broad-minded, cooperating in any of the domestic matters, support of the family, and any of the fourth house related concerns, if that directly qualifies. If you are a farmer, if you are in the real estate business, construction business, any of the dairy business, real estate, manpower management, luxury items. So all these things, if that qualifies in your case, so you're actually going to get benefited or some new opportunities can also materialize. One thing which I want to advise you over here is that try to make your family or the home environment bit like the way I will not say like me that I'm so much religiously driven, but I mean to say, if you can do prayers at your home or like there are so many incense or candles which have got very therapeutic, rejuvenating energies in them. So if you can light that candle and shoo off all the negativity from the house or doing prayers, like in India, we have this thing that we have like organizing some spiritual retreat at the home on some important auspicious dates. So now we have to take into consideration basis the religion, basis the country, basis the era. But I mean to say, not only going to the places of religious significance is going to help you, but even at the home, if because of the COVID you cannot have a proper retreat organized, so even in the home front, like reading out loud whatsoever the religious teachings or religious scriptures are, so just make the domestic environment around you positive, very righteous, very religious, experiencing divinity in the home life. So that is how energies are going to manifest for all the Scorpio ascendant natives. Because when we talk about all those people who are working in the sector of the real estate, so real estate and construction, real estate somehow gets dominated by the Martian people only. And fourth house represents all of that. So I mean to say Jupiter entering their fourth house. So for the Scorpio natives, this time period can actually bring good results in the form of some good opportunities if their livelihood or profession is straight away connected with the fourth house. So shall we move ahead?
Sagittarius.
Yeah. So for the Sagittarius ascendant natives, Jupiter is definitely a very important planet for them because it is their ascendant lord. So ascendant lord was so far like transiting in their second house, which can be seen as a good sign in a way that because Saturn was also conjunct over there. So finances in the financial aspect, I would not say that they might have been introduced to so many opportunities, but yes, it might have given them a time like to structure their financial state properly, work on them, work on the details where they are making more expenses, where they can save the money, because Saturn in itself represents saving assets and like little bit of the frugality in the matters of the finances. I mean to say once Jupiter is going to enter their third house, so the good part for the Sagittarius ascendant is that they're actually going to feel optimistic and they might be able to expand their horizons in the matters of looking at new opportunities. So I mean to say, and I've already explained this thing, this whole transit of Jupiter is happening in a sign which represents collective, which represents group activities. So I mean to say, because of which this is a time period where try to socialize and pay heed to the advices of people in your vicinity. Now, this could be your neighbors, this could be your friends, this could be your younger siblings. Just pay attention to them. The voice of the divine, the voice of the goodness might come through your younger sibling as well, might come from a good friend as well. So that is how planet brings out results. So this time period is good for the Sagittarius ascendant natives, or specifically if in their case, if third house related profession qualifies. So if you are in sales, you are in marketing, you are in advertising, you work with your own skill, you are a YouTuber, you are a content creator, designer. So I mean to say this time period is very beneficial if in your case third house um, occupation livelihood qualifies, or even if you want to start something on your own and you have been just lacking that trust, lacking that right set of people to come into your life, connect the dots, initiate some of your dream aspiration. So from those perspective, third house is a good energy. Transit of your ascendant lord in the third house can be seen as a very good energy. So I mean to say, try to just remain empathizing towards people around you, be a active listener to whatsoever they have to say, advices they have to give. So from all of those perspectives, the transit of Jupiter in the third house can bring some good results in the form of new startup, new opportunities, and can materialize new strong influence, new connections can be made. So from that perspective, this transit is good for all the Sagittarius ascendant natives.
And then it can also trigger travel. Is it
Yeah,
like a
short travels. Yes, yes, yes. When we talk about third house, the short travels, like for example, going here and there, and for the opportunities, so much running around. And important is that, see, when we talk about even the travels, so sometimes the travels are like some of those travels as well, which do not give you any returns. But sometimes even the travels come out to be of very, what do you call that, very rewarding. So I mean to say some rewarding travels, good connections, short trips, short journeys with friends, with comrades can happen. So you're actually heading towards a time of enjoyment, giving attention to your hobbies, travels. Yes, this is a good time for the Sagittarius ascendant.
okay, cool.
For the coming to the Capricorn ascendant natives. So for the Capricorn ascendant natives, this whole Jupiter was so far was debilitated in their first house. So I mean to say, for the Capricorn ascendant, this was not so far. It was not a very good time running for these people because first of all, Saturn, their ascendant lord, is already putting them down with lot of burden of responsibilities, so much fear of the future, being they doing fulfilling their duties and responsibilities. And over and above that, Jupiter was also conjunct in their first house, debilitated, conjunct with Saturn. So for the Capricorn natives, this might have been a hard time filled with responsibilities and pressure so far. But now, as Jupiter is going to enter their second house, so there can definitely be some relief from that pressure of the responsibilities. And specifically, if you have been actually living with the Saturnian principles, you have been actually working hard. So now, the moment Jupiter, which has already entered your second house, so the financial front can actually feel, can be reinforced. Some new opportunity, which could be financial in nature, can materialize. If in your case, your speech or yeah, finances, your speech, family matters, support of the family. Some see, second house also represents people who are very close to you, who are very dear to you. So I mean to say, some people with whom you share good rapport, and you might not have been able to give time to them or get along with them or catch up with them. So during this time period of Jupiter's transit in the second house, all those connections, all those friends might again come in picture. Some financial lucrative opportunities, and giving attention to your family members, and so all of those matters can actually function, can work for their advantage. But most importantly, whatsoever hard work they have done in the past few weeks, or rather months, so that hard work will start paying up financially, most importantly financially, and their personality is actually going to feel little bit relieved. They are definitely going to feel more optimistic once Jupiter has entered their second house. And the solace of hope, of happiness, which is going to come, that is going to come with people who are very close to them or their family members. So it's not like that third house or 11th house, you have to go out and look for someone. Second
Yeah.
house is which is already close to you, which is already around you,
Oh,
or
that's
the people who are very dear to you.
okay. And then you mentioned finances. Does that include like maybe Bitcoin for people or like cryptocurrency? People invest.
See, that crypto part and that currencies can still happen at the time when Jupiter is going to be in the Sandvisha part, but even in the Dhanishta section as well, that can still materialize. So yeah, finances are actually going to get replenished, reinforced. But means, I mean to say, summarizing it, the thing is, whatsoever they have worked hard with two important planets being present right in their first house, if they had not looked down or looked back, or shy away from their responsibilities, from doing the hard work, so the financial gifts are now on way for them.
Oh, okay, that's great. Snaps for that.
Now, yeah. So now for the Aquarius ascendant natives. So see, for the Aquarius ascendant natives, as you know this thing, that for the Aquarius ascendant natives, their 12th house is actually right now very empowered. So I mean to say, for any of the spiritual insights, any of the spiritual or the psychic fields, if that qualifies in their case, foreign trade, foreign business qualifies in their case, or health industry qualifies in their case, nursing, working in hospitals, if that qualifies in their case, so I mean to say, that could have been a time where their whole attention was in all those pursuit, in all those things. But now, the moment Jupiter is going to enter their first house, so that can be seen as a very good thing, because see, you have to also understand this thing, that which houses Jupiter rules for the Aquarius ascendant natives. Jupiter is actually the key to their treasure, because Jupiter rules two important of their financial houses. Whenever we talk about finances, it's either the second house, which is the pure cash finance, or the 11th house of opportunity, and both of their houses are ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter is actually a very important planet for them, specifically for the materialistic pursuits and the materialistic realm, I mean to say. So the moment Jupiter is going to enter their the first house, so from the financial perspective, this can be seen as a very good time. And the good thing is that, for example, if someone is in a in a content creation, in any of the public facing, public speaking field, so first house is something which, what people, what kind of impression people get when they look at you. 10th house is your actions are being perceived. First house is you getting perceived, you are getting observed. So I mean to say, giving this impression of, or coming across very scholarly, very knowledgeable person. For the financial perspective as well, your own endeavors, your own efforts can actually bring some good financial rewards. New opportunities might come to you, because Jupiter is in your first house. So I mean to say, you do not have to go anywhere. The opportunities might be coming to you or be approached to you. And one thing is that, see, you have to understand the difference between the prayers and the meditation. When we do prayers, we talk to God. But when we do meditation with our closed eyes, completely attuned, to the divinity, then divinity talks to us. This is what meditation is. So I mean to say, this is a very good time for the Aquarius ascendant natives to take out time every morning for the meditation, like with your closed eyes. See, you are lucky that if you know about the right process of doing it. But let's say, for example, if you do not even do it, try to focus yourself, your consciousness to single point. And if with your closed eyes in the morning, in the good hours, if you're going to meditate, so you will actually find those insights or divine wisdom. Or the good part with the Jupiter transiting in the first house, that their intellect, their perception works in a way that they are able to see through the truth, they're able to acknowledge the goodness, wisdom. So I mean to say, it's like they're wearing the glasses of goodness of Jupiter. So they will see goodness everywhere. They will walk with optimism. They will instill optimism in others. Opportunities coming their way, which could be financial in nature. So from all of those perspectives, this time period can be seen as very good for the Aquarius ascendant natives. And like the way I always say this thing, the Aquarius ascendant natives, whatsoever change they want to bring, whatsoever they want to achieve, that cannot be done alone. You have to be a part of the collective. Aquarius defines the collectiveness. Aquarius
Yeah.
is not individuality. Your ascendant lord gets debilitated in the sign of individuality, which is which is Aries. So I mean
Yeah.
to say, you have to be humanitarian, you have to be philanthropic, you have to reach out, and collectively you can achieve whatever you want to achieve in the life. And moving ahead, if you want to understand for all the Pisces ascendant natives. So as you know this thing, that for the Pisces ascendant natives, this is little bit of the sensitive time, because for example, the planet of opportunities, hope and optimism is stepping out of your house of opportunities of 11th house, and it is getting in the house of the little bit of the house of like darkness, or which is the house of, it is a good house for the Pisces ascendant natives if in their case. See, because okay, one thing which we always like forget to look at is that Pisces is the original 12th house energy. When we talk about devotion and compassion, these are the epitome, these are the example of all these emotions and feelings. Whether it's about devoting yourself to the craft, compassionately doing philanthropic work, any of the charitable work, in matters of love, family, relationship, unconditional deep emotion and surrender is something which is the forte of the Pisces people, Pisces ascendants. I mean to say, so just because Jupiter is entering in your 12th house, so it is actually going to give you good insights. Like I mean to say, let's say for example, if you have been attaching or investing your emotions, your feelings, your time, your endeavors to the wrong people, wrong set of people, wrong hobbies, wrong activities, bad habits. So I mean to say, Jupiter is actually going to bring clarity in all those areas. Jupiter is the light of wisdom, light of purity. So I mean to say, it is actually going to give you this insight that okay, this person doesn't deserve your attention. This activity, this hobby doesn't deserve your time. So not only it is going to help you over there, but at the same time, prophetic dreams, intuition working for you, helping you, guiding you in taking important decisions. And at the same time, if in any ways 12th house qualifications directly qualifies in your case, I mean to say, let's say for example, you are working in import and export, you are working in foreign trade, you are working in anything related to spirituality or buying and selling of the spiritual stuff. So I mean to say, this time period can be seen as promising if in your case 12th house signification directly qualifies. This time period can be seen as promising for all those people to understand the right usage or expense of whether their money, their energies, their attention. So a lot of clarity is going to come. And for the creative people, see, when we talk about 12th house, when we talk about originality, originality is the fifth house, the creative original spark. Even 12th house also is a very important house to completely, sway away from the reality and create something which you cannot understand from your rational mind. So for all those people who are fantasy writer, for all those people, or let's say for example, like even we have to take into consideration the time, era, and the country. So for example, all those people who are even connected with the adult industry, so even they can get benefited. Even the adult industry comes with the 12th house. So even these people can get benefited. So yeah, that's how we can see the energies reverberating for all the 12 houses of the all the 12 ascendants.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for your insight. It's so valuable and helpful to us in our lives. And just thankful to Jupiter for this
Yeah.
transit. We're really excited
And
for
And
Jupiter.
at the end, I just want to say one thing only, that
Yeah,
you
of course.
said this thing in a very rightful way, that try not to get confused with Western or Sidereal. Like for example, if you follow the Sidereal, so go to that link, open your chart, understand your life, see the significance from the transit, the circumstances, opportunities. You will get an idea. So keep this Sidereal separate,
Mhm.
understand it. It will guide you properly. And if you follow Western astrology, so follow that clearly. Principles could merge, but the prophecies and the predictions and the events will never merge like that. So you have to follow one
Yeah.
discipline, one field completely. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for
Thank
bringing
you,
the.
Kitana. Namaste. Thanks a lot. Om Namah Shivaya. Thanks a lot for inviting me. I'm very happy for the first time after making videos from past 5 years. First time I actually came on someone's channel and got this opportunity to talk my insights,
Mhm.
my research with other fellow good astrologer. Thanks a
Yay! Shout out to Aquarius.
lot. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.